This is a conference meeting of the Municipal Council of the City of Orange Township held at City Hall, 29 North Day Street, Orange, New Jersey, on Tuesday, April 7th at 7 o'clock p.m. Roll call. Councilman Coley.
Present.
Councilwoman Easton.
Here.
Councilwoman Hilbert.
Here.
Council Vice President Monica III.
Present.
Councilman Ross.
Here.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson is absent. Council President Wooten is absent. Also present is Tricia Scipio, Chris Hartwig, Business Administrator, Derek Brown, Fire Chief, Brian Mooney, Police Chief, Gracia R. Montillis, City Attorney, Marlon G. Towns, Legislative Research Officer. Please be apprised that anyone wishing to discuss agenda or general items shall sign their name on the comment sign-up sheet and will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to interact with the City Council. The requirements of NJSA 10:4-9 EDSA Sunshine Law has been met. A notice of this meeting was sent to the Star Ledger and published in the record transcript on Thursday, July 10th, 2025, posted on a bulletin board in City Hall, the Council's website, the City's website, and filed in the office of the City Clerk. Matters for discussion. Neither the Essex County liaison said that he was running behind. The health officer is not present. We cannot entertain a motion to suspend the rules
Yes.
And allow.
and allow the Radium Girls to
present.
speak. Can I have a motion?
Motion to suspend the rules.
Second, Hilbert.
Motion by Councilwoman Eason, second by Councilwoman Hilbert to suspend the rules. All those in favor vote by saying aye.
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 Motion adopted. The Radium Girls, if you wouldn't mind coming to the podium to present, thank you so very much.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity for us to present. To the honorable members of the City of Orange Township Council, I am Margaret Cunningham from Orange Public School District and a member of the Radium Girls Committee. I am here tonight to share our heartfelt thank you for your support of the Radium Girls Memorial Celebration and for helping make March 25th such a meaningful and successful day for our Orange community and the greater community. Your backing allowed us to honor the Radium Girls with dignity, visibility, and care. And it sent a powerful message that Orange remembers its history and the women who helped shape it. We were and we are deeply grateful for your presence, encouragement, and belief in the importance of this work. March 25th was not just a date on the calendar. It became a moment of reflection, education, and community connection because of your support. With that spirit in mind, we respectfully ask for your blessing and approval to move forward with part 2 of the memorial, the installation of a sundial at College Park. College Park is a place of recreation and academic enrichment for our community. And it offers a thoughtful, accessible setting where history, learning, and public space naturally intersect. A sundial honors time itself, labor, sacrifice, and legacy, and would serve as a lasting educational and reflective feature for generations to come. With your support, Part 2 can build thoughtfully upon the success of March 25th and further affirm Orange's commitment to remembrance, education, and community well-being. In keeping with that vision, I will now share the podium with Dallas Whitley, who will share the vision for Part 2 of the Radium Girls Memorial.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Again, I want to echo what Ms. Cunningham spoke about. Our incredible thanks for your support with this project that we right? And if you look at this quote again, in the shadows of doubt, so meaning if you are faced with doubt and you're standing in the shadow of doubt, you have to find courage to step outside of your zone to find the light. That's how it works. So that's exactly what the Radium Girls did, and we are so happy to celebrate this here at College Park. Right now, we have worked on opening up the idea of placing plaques here to represent the 5 women that took a stand in the shadow of doubt, right? And so at this location where they lost their lives painting watch dials, I thought it was so fitting that we place a timepiece that is the original timepiece, a sun clock or a sundial. So, I spent some time at College Park, and as you can see, there's a beautiful shadow that gets cast over a plot of grass, 20 by 27 feet, that's right along High Street, very close to the sign that we have for Radium Girls. This is a perfect location. It's just screaming for a sundial. I really do believe so. So I want to tell you about how sundials work, and I'm also going to leave you with a sundial to take to your home or to your office. I want you, while I'm speaking, to think of the sunniest place in your house or in your office that you can place this sundial, because I do have a very important homework assignment for you. So here we are, this plot of grass, perfect shadow. A sundial that I would like to place here is something called a human sundial, which means it's an animaletic sundial. The sundial that I'm going to give you has a little pointer. It's called a gnomon that will cast the shadow. But in order for this sundial to work, it takes a person. They have to stand at a particular location on the sundial so that it correctly casts the shadow. This sundial will be built very specific to the longitude and latitude of Orange, New Jersey, because the way the sun rises and sets in Orange is like no other place. So the sundial and this panel right here will be equipped for Orange, New Jersey. So for example, today, if we went to the sundial, we would stand near the April, closer to the April 1st portion, and that shadow will correctly tell the time. Okay? Now, there is, if you're not sure, there is something called the North American Sundial Society. It is a location that you can go with a directory of sundials all in the state of New Jersey and in North America. In New Jersey right now, there are 2 sundials in Essex County, one in Bloomfield and one in Newark. I went to the one in Newark. I spoke to the designer there about the construction of a sundial. It's a very serious but very doable project. What's most important, though, is once we create this sundial to honor the Radium Girls and to honor the timeless lessons that we're going to learn from this, we can register our sundial in this North American Society. And not only are there sundial enthusiasts here, but astronomers the same. So I want you to use your imagination. The sundial will look like this. It'll be a time and date marker here where the person would stand, and their shadow will tell the time. If you notice, there are 2 rows of time. Can anyone take a guess why that is? Good guess. We're only going to be able to tell the sun's shadow in the AM during the sunlight. Say it again? Morning and afternoon. Possibly morning and afternoon, right? This will be noon, where the 12 is. Anybody else? I love your guesses. Please, this is the best part.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for answering.
Answer that question again.
Why is there 2 rows?
There's 2 rows because we want this to work, hint, all year round. Say it again? We have to consider daylight savings time, but we also have to consider just the natural apparent motion of the sun in the sky. So I say apparent, meaning the sun doesn't move, but our movement looks like the sun does move differently throughout the sky. It actually forms a figure 8 in the sky throughout the seasons because we're on a tilt. So our light that we get changes, and so this compensates for our tilt, the way our Earth is tilted towards this, well, it's tilted, period, sometimes toward the sun and sometimes away. So you see this longer one here, that would represent the summertime. There's more hours of daylight there, whereas this shorter one here on top would be the shorter season. So we want our sundial to work all season long, and that's what an animaletic sundial is designed to do. So this design is what we hope to create in that space. We're going to need to dig up the grass and put these pavers down, but we also would like to put solar pavers as well to mark the time so that you can see this sundial at night. It'll be on at night. Even though you can't tell the time at night, we'll know that it's there because of the solar pavers that we can also put in its place. And where will it go? I'm glad you asked. Well, here we have the area where the plaques are. The sundial will be right in that little section there. You'll be able to see it from the road lit up. College Park, it's an amazing title for a place that we can go and learn. We are all very enrolled in this idea of being at a space where there would be lifelong learning, where we could have school trips, also take advantage of the sundial. I've been teaching in Orange science for quite some time now, and I'm familiar with the curriculum there. So I decided to find where in the curriculum, even though I knew already because I'm obsessed with science and the teaching and learning of it. But I want to show you there's ample opportunities for teachers in many different grades to be able to come down to this sundial and apply it to the learning they're having in the classroom. Specifically, grade 5, they actually build a sundial that's part of their project. So how awesome would it be where we create a sundial in College Park where we can merge social studies, reading, science, and just life and social justice in one location. So K through 5, there's opportunities for sundials as well as in the middle school as well. The middle school has a unit called Light and Matter, as well as Earth and Space, which is really much encompassing all the things that we can do with the sundial. So when you get your sundial, I'm going to ask you again, and have you thought of a sunny place? Do you have one in your mind? In your house? I hope so. What you're going to do is you're going to place your sundial on a flat level surface. You're going to make sure that it's pointing to north, and you want to make sure it's pointing to true north. And then I want you to just observe and tell me what your sundial tells you, if it's accurate, if it's not. And if it's not accurate, how off is it? Keep track of that, collect some data. When we are talking about science, we are talking about equipping our community with the ability to attain what are called science and engineering practices. We want everyone not to be able to know facts per se. We want them to have the ability to ask questions, to develop models, to analyze, obtain information. These are skills that apply to anything that you will do as a citizen, right? So I'm really excited about this. I'm really hoping that I can gain your continued support with the second part of this project. At no cost to the city will this be done. We have a plan in place to make sure that we can put this additional reminder of what happened at this place, but also what will continue to happen because of what we now know and learn. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna give you the bags really quick, okay?
Council President, Council Vice President. She was my son's science teacher at Haywood, so well, listen, when I tell you she is the real deal, like really enjoying what she does, which transfers over to our kids, so I know all about the 5th grade sundial. I know all about that, yes.
You can bring them to me. Right here.
Council Vice President? Oh, I'm gonna say something. Okay. I want to thank each and every one of you on that team. March 25th was a great day in the history of Orange, especially College Park, because it added so much to that area, and they put it in a more positive light for the residents. And I think they're going to enjoy the sundial and all of the history and all of the science that's being presented in the park. So thank you all for sponsoring the project, getting the funding to make it happen. So thank you for your effort, and I will continue to support you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Council Vice President, I'd just like to say a few words too. I was at the tribute at College Park, and it was an outstanding program. You guys did a very, very, very good job, okay? And you guys came here to say thank you to us, but we need to say thank you to you guys because you brought history back to the city of Orange, and these 5 young ladies, you know, will never be forgotten because of you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Council.
And I want to say, I hope everyone read the NewJersey.com article. They did a great job in summarizing what happened that day, and it is a lot of history there. So if you get a chance, read the article in NewJersey.com.
Awesome.
Thank you, ladies.
Okay. Thank you so much, ladies. Our Essex County Representative Liaison has still not arrived, so we are going to move on to legislation. The resolutions and ordinances to be presented at tonight's meeting are listed on the attached regular meeting agenda. If any council member wishes to discuss any resolution or ordinance, it may be discussed at this time.
Council Vice President? Through you to our city attorney,
Yes.
223-2026.
Yes.
2026 was never approved, that we postponed it. So how can we rescind something we never approved?
So wait a minute, say that again. Resolution rescinding proposed ordinance number 2? Is that what you're saying? Is that the resolution you're talking about?
226.
Yes.
Remember, we postponed it at the last meeting.
Okay.
So how can we rescind something that we postponed?
226 or 223?
Right.
223 is the resolution.
Resolution.
No,
So
Right.
which one are
That's
you
the
referring
rescinding.
to?
But she's
226
talking
doesn't say
about
rescind.
number 2 on the post.
223 to 2026, so
223.
rescinding,
Is
Ordinance
rescinding
number
proposed
2.
ordinance 2, right?
yeah. So how can we rescind something that we never approved?
No, I agree.
So do we just pull that off of the agenda?
You can.
Noted.
Are we pulling it until after?
So that means we don't have to take any action on it, right?
Correct.
So we're
Thank you.
pulling it completely?
Yes.
Okay,
Just send it back to the administration. That's fine.
okay. Anyone else?
Yes. Council Vice President,
Yes.
through you to the Business Administrator.
He's not here.
Oh. Okay. All right, so I'll just, he disappeared. So I'll actually redirect it to Councilmember Ross, who sponsored this ordinance 3-2026. Could you tell us what exactly you intended with this? Even though we already have like some online payment systems we already have with the city?
Yes, I can. This is for paying tickets online, like we do parking tickets. I had a series of people, lots of people coming to me saying I got a ticket for not having my garbage out on time or not at the right time, or not having a lid on my garbage can, and putting out bags. Okay, they got tickets, and they couldn't pay those tickets online. Okay, they had to go to court, and they didn't want to go to court. They said, I can't spend all day going to court over a stupid little ticket, so can we pay this online? And that's what this ordinance does. It makes you able to pay a property damage ticket, a property ticket like garbage cans online.
Okay, but I think I saw somewhere it was saying that we would use a third party. So why couldn't we just include this with the court systems and what they have, or at least what we have here? We use Edmunds to pay online. Some of our, like our water bills and other stuff that we have here.
This,
administration.
this was in coordination with the court system,
Okay.
okay? So they know all about this, and it's just gonna be paid online, just like a regular parking ticket.
Okay, so it's not us paying for another provider, another software, it's just gonna be grouped in with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, and then they'll have the capacity or the manpower to update all that information? And who's gonna be responsible for the data?
I don't know, do you?
Who's going to be responsible for what?
Who's gonna be responsible for the data?
What data? Like what?
Like, who's gonna be responsible, making sure all that's cleared here in the administration? Like, if it was Public Works who issued the violation, what's gonna be the connection between them and the person paying online if Public Works is not managing it?
Well, it would be the municipal court, the same system that they use for all tickets, for all summonses, whether it's parking tickets that are being paid online, whether it's now they're going to be the code enforcement violations or the code violations that be paying online, so it'll be the municipal courts,
Okay,
or the municipal court, rather.
all right. BA, you missed all the questions. But that's okay, you gentlemen answered them, thank you.
Council President, are you
I-
situated there? How
I
you
am.
doing? Good to see you.
I actually have a follow-up
Oh, sorry.
question. What would the service fee be? There'll be an additional service fee, right, for paying online?
It's the
It's the
same,
same as the parking tickets.
right.
Okay.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. 201, 2026. This is, authorized emergency funding for FF1 apparatus. It doesn't say here on this, on the body of the resolution what the emergency is. Can the fire chief or can you, Mr. BA, tell me what the emergency is?
So there was a mechanical issue with one of the apparatus. It took it out of service. And then there was a separate mechanical issue with another piece of apparatus that took that out of service. There's not enough money in the emergency authorization that we already did for FF1 to pay for those repairs, so that's what this is for.
Okay. Two oh three. We're rescinding this, resolution for rock salt because we have enough. Is that it?
No, we were rescinding it because we didn't have a certification of funds. So it'll be back either as a budget item for 2026 or with a new certification of funds for 25.
What does our supply, look like right now? Do you know?
Yeah, we got a fairly big order after the last storm, so we're well stocked.
So this would be payment for that
It's-
last order that we got?
It's payment for the order that we got before the first storm, when we issued a request to a neighboring municipality and a contractor to get us some rock salt.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 204. This is, authorizing, professional engineering services for tennis courts at Central Playground.
Yes.
What are they gonna be doing there? Putting a new tennis court?
So, there are three tasks that they're being contracted to do. One is a survey of the existing courts. You have to do that in order to actually do the work. The second is the engineering plan preparation, and the third is bidding assistance, bid analysis, and recommendation of award. Those are the three main categories of the services they're providing.
You know, I just want to say that, you know, we've been spending a lot of money in our parks. And I ride by this park on my way home all the time, and I see that tennis court. And it's not being well-maintained, there's no enforcement on that tennis court. And I don't want to spend a lot of money on this tennis court where, you know, people are riding their bikes, skateboarding, you know, pushing baby carriages, sitting on the nets and doing all of that kind of stuff. So, you know, we gotta be careful in the money we spend, and we're not keeping a good eye on what's going on with the money that we're spending.
Anything else, Councilman Ross?
Yeah, I'm not finished.
Okay.
205. This is for Brook Alley Garage Improvement Project. And I thought this project was completed.
No. There are substantial portions of the project that will be completed within the next 3 months.
Well, what did we complete?
There were improvements to the building that were done. And mostly what you have left done is the outdoor stuff, like the paving of the yard, the improved drainage systems. And then there's a portion of the wall that is behind the Brook Alley Garage that's above and abuts or comes close to the railroad trestle. There's a fence there. It took a while to get the approval from New Jersey Transit to do that work, and that's part of the work that still needs to be completed.
Okay. Just 1 second, Council President.
No problem.
This 210. This is a lot of money here. Construction oversight of the citywide identification and lead service line replacement program. Just a quick question on this. Did we bond it out for this, correct?
This, we adopted a bond ordinance so that we could apply for the funds through the H2 loan iBank. And this is the program where 16 out of the 20 million is forgiven. And then we have to come up with the $4 million that remains. And we can do that from a variety of sources if we don't bond it.
What are we leaning towards?
A special appropriation through our congressional delegation.
Okay. And just one more is 219, and I need you to explain this to me because I tried to read it and totally got lost, didn't understand.
Okay, let me just pull it out so that I can look at it while I'm explaining it. There is the Well 5 project,
Yeah?
which has been going on for some time. And we had a contract awarded back in 2024. Subsequent to the award of that contract, the prices changed. And when the prices changed, they went up over 20%, and that required us to do a change order and get DEP's approval. We did the change order, we submitted to DEP, they sent it back and said, for 3 reasons, they weren't going to approve it and they wanted us to do it again. In the interim, while that was taking place, the prices changed again. So we changed the engineer on the project. We brought in a new engineer. We reviewed the plans and specs of the contract. We made some modifications to bring the cost of the change order below 20%, so we didn't need DEP approval. And we're getting ready to file the project agreement or approve the project agreement for the project with the iBank. And that's what this does.
Okay. One more.
No problem.
213, this is a grant for remedial action at Colgate Park. What's going on at Colgate Park? Is some kind of,
It's when you use Green Acres funds for anything, you have to do soil borings now. So this is similar to what happened down at Metcalf Park. We took Green Acres funds, we did some soil borings. Some contaminants showed up in the soil borings, and now we have to remediate it, and this is the beginning of that remediation process.
so I was by there, and if there's contamination in that park, why is it open?
It's not the type of contamination that would require the closure of the park. There may be a small portion of, we have to get the soil borings back and the test results. And as a result of those things, we'll know what we have to do. So this is the first step in the process.
So as of right now, nothing is harmful to the people
As
that's in the
far
park?
as we know, no,
As far as we know.
correct.
Okay, all right. And is Metcalf Park fully remediated now?
Yes, it is.
Great. Thank you, Council President.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Yes, Council President.
Councilwoman Hilbert?
For 209-2026, with the agreement with Woodrow and Curran,
Yes.
could you explain how these fees and the services are going to benefit us, or what impact it will be, being that it's being paid through the escrow funds?
So this is mostly pass-through. What happens is a developer or a builder will file an application either for a water disconnect or a water connection. That work has to be done by a contractor approved by the city because it means that they're touching our mains, and we don't let just any contractor touch the mains. So we have an approved list of 4 to 5 contractors that the operator uses. He gets bids from those contractors, and then we award to the lowest responsible among the contractors that submit proposals. They do the work, and it's paid for by the developer through these escrow fees. The portion that benefits the city is when you do a water connection, you also pay what's called an EDU fee, which is an equivalent dwelling unit fee. And those fees are substantial and get paid to the water utility and are used for infrastructure improvements.
Okay. My follow-up question is going to be, how often are we updating our list of approved vendors?
We update it annually.
Annually?
Yeah, and it's not our list, it's a list that the operator uses pursuant to the operations agreement.
The company, Woodard and Curran?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. My next question is going back to 210-2026 for the lead service line replacement. Do we have a deadline for this as a municipality? I think it's 2031?
2031.
2031. And with everything, with all the initiatives and the mailings, because I did see some mailings regarding this, the responsibility of the homeowner, do you think we're going to meet that deadline as a
Yes.
city? Okay, what if a homeowner is having a hard time scheduling this and paying for this?
So there are, first of all, the $20 million authorization includes not only the replacement of the lines that are identified from the main to the curb box, but from the curb box to the meter. So if you're a homeowner and your line is determined to be lead and we find it, we replace it. That's until the 20 million runs out,
So first come, first serve, pretty much.
pretty much.
Okay.
So if you sign up to be tested and you're in and you get the program done, then you don't have to pay for the replacement of your line. Once the 20 million runs out, either we get an additional tranche of funding, or we get an additional tranche of funding for the public piece, and we do some type of funding mechanism for the private piece, or the homeowner has to pay.
So that sounds like possibly another bond if we had to?
It depends. We'll
Or a
get there
grant.
when I don't know what type of programs will be available between now and 2031, but I expect there will be additional programs available.
Understood. Okay, thank you so much.
Anyone else?
For the record, we want to note that Councilwoman Summers Johnson arrived at 7:04 PM. Council President Wooten arrived at 7:18 PM. No one else for the record? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second, Summers Johnson.
Motion to adjourn by Councilwoman Summers, motion to adjourn by Councilwoman Easton, second by Councilwoman Summers Johnson. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 7:35 PM. This is a regular meeting of the Municipal Council of the City of Orange Township held at City Hall, 29 North Day Street, Orange, New Jersey, on Tuesday, April 7, following the conference meeting. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Councilman Montague, will you lead us?
Thank you. Roll call. Councilman Coley?
Present.
Councilwoman Easton?
Here.
Councilwoman Hilbert?
Present.
Council Vice President Montague III?
Present.
Councilman Ross?
Here.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson?
Here.
Council President Wooten?
Here.
Also present is Tricia Scipio, Chris Hartwig, Business Administrator, Derek Brown, Fire Chief, Brian Mooney, Police Chief, Garcia R. Montella, City Attorney, and Marlon G. Towns, Legislative Research Officer. The requirements of NJSA 10:4-9 EDSA Sunshine Law has been met. A notice of this meeting was sent to the Star Ledger, published in the Record Transcript on Thursday, July 10th, 2025, posted on the bulletin board in City Hall, the council's website, the city's website, and filed in the office of the city clerk. Approval of meeting minutes, March 17th, special conference and regular meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second, Summers Johnson.
Motion to approve was made by Councilwoman Easton, second by Councilwoman Summers Johnson. On the motion, all those in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion adopted. Reports, Department monthly revenue collections. The clerk's office for the month of March 2026 collected $295.57. Public Works for the month of March 2026 collected $1,020. There are no open reports at this meeting. There are no communications and petitions. Citizen comments on general issues and agenda items. Members of the public wishing to address the council may do so during this portion of the meeting. Speakers must sign their name on the comment sign-up sheet and approach the microphone when called upon. To allow maximum public involvement, each speaker is permitted 1 3-minute period to interact with the council and must provide his or her name and street address prior to beginning any remarks. Visual aids are not permitted. Speakers are reminded to be courteous and mindful of other individuals. Each person has the right to speak on any subject, but is responsible for abuse of that right. The city bears no liability for any comments made by the public and maintains discretion to remove any person engaging in obscene or disruptive conduct. The council will consider all comments and questions and will respond if and when appropriate, which may or may not be during this meeting.
Aisha Samuel.
Good evening, 401 Highland Terrace. The Historical Preservation Commission, I know that you guys voted to quote-unquote declassify it or what have you, but what happens now? Because they had some money that was supposed to be used to help mail the information out years ago, but it never happened. So what happened to that money, and what happens to the historical money that we could have had access to because of the historical preservation? And there are letters going out to each and every property owner that has never been done, because I would like to have access to money to help my house, my historical house that was built in the 1800s, to help me fix it up and make it the way that I would love for it to look for everybody. I would love to have access to that money, but now because of the historical preservation being gone, I don't have access to that money anymore. What's going on with the Highland Avenue train station? I know that there's been some stuff going on there because there's some dumpsters, and I see porta potties there, but I haven't heard you guys talk about it at all. When will Highland Terrace be repaved? I know that there's a list going around, and that's supposed to start pretty soon because we're in April. And how many wells does Orange own, and how many are we currently using? And who is the water company that Orange is now paying? New water meters cost $300, and for them to be replaced, property owners aren't told how much they cost when they are replaced. And what's going on with the parking permit and the parking authority and all of that good stuff? And what's going on with scattered sites and the Scotland Road project? Because I haven't heard anything about that. I haven't heard anybody talk about that. So what's going on? And what's going on with the hospital too? Because we haven't had any updates about the hospital. What's going on with the hospital? We haven't heard any updates about that either. Oh, look, my time is up. Oh, shucks. Hey.
Thank you.
First of all, the council didn't vote to dismantle the Historic Preservation Commission. And whether or not the Historic Preservation Commission functioned as a legal body is a legal question that the law department is looking at, and we won't comment on it further. The appointments of Historic Preservation Commissioners have all expired. There are no holdovers. So right now, the Historic Preservation Commission can't meet. With respect to the Highland Avenue train station, yes, work has started. We've reported on it a few times when asked here at council meetings. The actual contract for the interior renovation will be awarded within the next 30 to 60 days. The work that's being done now is remediation and demolition. That contract was already awarded. I'll check on Highland Terrace and the paving schedule. I don't have it in front of me. We own 8 water wells. Of those 8, 5 are in use. 2 of them are going through the process of being permanently closed, and 1 is already permanently closed and abandoned. The new water operator is Woodard and Curran. There's a parking permit ordinance on the agenda for this evening. Scattered sites, that ordinance passed months ago, and the hospital site is updated at every council meeting because the council vice president asks about it at every council meeting. And I'll just beat him to the question and answer your question and say that the developer and the city's negotiating teams are going back and forth regarding a financial agreement. They've made an application for a payment in lieu of taxes. The application's being reviewed. Documents are being negotiated. It is necessary to have that in place in order for them to make an application for Aspire funds. They intend to do that. They're in the process of making an application with the city for brownfields redevelopment funds to help remediate the site. And they've made some additional taken some additional steps with respect to site planning for remediation and demolition.
That's it. Alicia. Thank you.
Good evening, 487 Mountain View Ave. I can't see the timer. Can you please fix it, Ms. Scipio? Your paper is covering it. It's still covering it, the paper in front of it. Yeah, there you go. Can you please restart the timer? Can you please restart the timer? Good evening. I want to touch on 2 subjects tonight. The first is the mice and rat infestation that is out of control. I have over 8 apartment buildings surrounding my block. People are running into rats all days of the week. I'm not exaggerating. I walk out my house to my car, rat runs right across me. I don't know what we're doing about it, but I even have mice running into my basement if I leave the door open for a second to go outside. I've had to buy hard plastic containers for every piece of food in my house, even that is not canned. I'm not exaggerating. I can send you guys pictures. There's nothing, I'm like so distraught at this point because the more construction that starts, the more rats and mice I see. I cannot hang out in my backyard. There's literally rats running across the backyard. I've expressed this to you guys, I've emailed you guys, and I think 2 years ago when I actually first complained about it, the person in the office said, well, it's really not an Orange problem, but if there's a school board there, we can possibly put some traps out there. But now I understand it is a you problem because it's a construction problem. Every time a new ground is broken, within a few 50 feet, 30 feet, there's an influx of mice and rats, and everybody in my neighborhood is going through it. The second thing I want to express is my profound concern regarding the recent talks about eliminating the historic preservation in Orange. What are you doing to make sure we can make it work for residents? I just heard you guys say that you're not doing this, that it's just about positions, which is very confusing because if you have people that are in the historic preservation telling you one thing, but then you guys are telling us another thing, someone's not telling the truth. So, I did some research, and the historic preservation is not just about old buildings. It's about protecting the character of our neighborhood, stabilizing property values, which is not stable, and honoring the heritage that makes Orange unique. By walking on a resolution of this magnitude without public discourse, this council has bypassed the very people you represent. Or without explaining it, at least, at bare minimum, is not transparency. The way you communicate is confusing and not clear to your residents. Instead of looking at us like we're crazy or misinformed, clarify and provide insight. Comments such as, we're not gonna speak about that, is not transparency. Under the spirit of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, major changes to our zoning and preservation laws should be subject to public hearings, not handled behind closed doors or through last-minute walk-on resolutions. I'm asking council to provide an formal explanation to help us understand why the Historical Preservation Committee is not a benefit to Orange homeowners or residents. And will you commit to schedule a dedicated town hall meeting so that residents can voice their concerns and understand the impact that HPC may have on our community for the future? And are there any walk-ons for tonight? Those are my questions.
I have a question. What are you referring to in terms of the historic preservation walk-on?
Right.
Well, last meeting or something of the sort, when I was told, because I had left early, it was posted on Facebook that you guys had pretty much trying to dismantle the Historic Preservation Committee. So I counted as a walk-on or whatever it is.
Completely untrue.
Well,
Completely
and that's why
untrue,
I'm
so
here
I can't
asking.
comment on it further.
Well, that's why I'm standing here asking for clarity, because if you have a representative that represents that committee telling that it is in fact trying to be dismantled, then somebody's not giving the right
There's
information.
nothing more to say other than that it's untrue. I don't know who put it on Facebook. I don't know what the veracity or the basis of their claim was.
So there's
But
nothing going on with
happened
that-
at the
okay.
last meeting, and there's nothing going on with the Historic Preservation Commission.
I don't understand the animosity. We're just asking
No
questions based
animosity.
on what.
It's just, it's.
You can't tell me how I can receive
you told
information.
me-
That's what it feels
You told
like.
us that, and
Yes.
it was
The clerk said it.
something that absolutely happened. It didn't happen.
It was something that was told to us by the people that run the committee.
It's called
As I
hearsay.
said.
Okay, so again, that's why I'm here, asking the question so we can clarify rather than assuming, and that's all I needed to know.
You can have a seat.
I'm sorry?
You can have a seat. We'll answer your questions, or we're already done.
Gloria Bozeman.
Shake it off. Gloria Bozeman, 345 Alcott Street. I was at the 25th. It was a very, very, very nice occasion, and I congratulate those people who put it together because it was certainly representative of the quality that we expect individuals to demonstrate as residents, and we're very much a benefit as it results of that type of planning and presentation. I just want to say that this 3 minutes is not enough time for me to even get out what I need to say. So I've decided that I'm going to start to focus very specifically on things that one at a time, so that maybe I will get some answers. When I began coming to this podium, it has been, and I had consistently asked about our decisions as it relates to housing development and what I perceive as a prolific and preponderance of housing developments that I'm not certain how they benefit the community. And one of the things that happens when people come and ask about these developments is that the council diverts that and begins to talk about, well, that's a planning board issue. Well, in fact, you are responsible for the planning board. You're responsible for the zoning board. You are responsible for making decisions about the policies that impact individuals as it relates to our residential life in this community. You have the ability to oversee the permitting process. You have the ability to determine where and how buildings might be developed so that they represent the community needs and the mixed-use developments that might be a part of the development that is relevant to us as residents and the environment that we exist in that we call a Orange Township. I ask about affordable housing, and when we talk about affordable housing, I've been investigating as much as I can. You say you meet the goals, and my understanding of those discussions is, yes, we meet those goals because we have so many senior citizen residences. But with regard to the moderate level income funding for housing or the moderate level assignments in housing development, you haven't done anything with it, even though the law says you can, but it is truly up to the city municipality to enforce that at any level. I'm concerned about community engagement. It's always been concerned about community engagement, and I believe that it is the city council's responsibility, and you have had a meeting, maybe more, I think I missed one, because you may have had meetings with regarding how we can best align ourselves to meet the future needs of this community, and I don't believe that it's done well with development. So my questions are simple. How many developments do we have? How many people will that how will that impact the population, and whether we're prepared to meet that need with regard to infrastructure, educational systems, and open spaces, and public and social meeting establishments? What's the total number of trust funds that now have been designated as it relates to the community developments and those developers who have put that money in trust funds? What's the total amount of those trust funds? And I have also asked that you consider local advisory boards to have some input with regard to those trust funds and how that money might be utilized so that we have a more effective representation of community engagement in our community.
Mr. B.A., anything?
There weren't a lot of questions there.
There are only three that I finalized with.
Okay. The one was affordable housing.
I already said that I got that senior citizens, and I know you give me about that quote all the time. But my final questions, I'll repeat them so that we might both be on the same page. Can I do that?
Sure.
Okay. I said how many developments, either completed, in planning, or proposed? What's the number of, or how will that increase the population in this small 2x2 city? How has the impact been, evaluated with regard to infrastructure, educational systems, public and open spaces? Then mine was trust funds. That's where I ended.
Okay. The trust funds, I'll get back to you with an exact number, but it's approximately $3 million in hand. And there is an obligation on behalf of the projects that have been approved but not yet obligated to cut checks of an additional $2.5 million, thereabouts. I'll get you exact numbers before the next meeting. In terms of completed and/or planned developments and what the impact on population would be, if all of the developments were built, and that's not happening, as we can see. There are many that have been approved but have not started construction. But assuming all of them were built, the impact on population would be between 3,000 and 5,000 people. And that depends upon which ones are built and which ones aren't, and whether or not they're 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, studios, et cetera, and how many people actually live there. With respect to impacts, I've indicated this before on at least 2 occasions. Every single project has to have a fiscal impact study. The city contracts for the fiscal impact study. The fiscal impact study includes infrastructure impacts. It includes impacts on police, fire, and schools, and it includes a monetary impact. All of those are on file in the clerk's office, and they can be obtained at any point with an Oprah request.
Thank you.
Since I don't get to
You done?
speak again, I have seen those reports. And I will come back again with some clarity on that.
Okay.
I think it's Margaret Cunningham.
Good evening. Yes, that was Palladium Girls, but I just want to add a comment about the tennis courts on Central Avenue. I work with both the men's and the girls' tennis team, and any work that we can do to help elevate. We compete against other schools, and we always want to put our best foot forward for our students, the access to bathrooms, water, and courts. And as a tennis lover, we're also trying to see how we can include Berkeley tennis courts. But anything that can be done to elevate the level of safety on those courts, because as a player with the cracks, it's not a safe environment. Our kids love it. They are thriving through it. So all that you can do to help elevate and bring those courts up to appropriate specs is deeply appreciated by the Orange Public Schools.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. I totally agree. It's hard when you step on a crack.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm of a certain age, so I don't want to fall. Dallas Whitley.
I signed it by mistake for the radio.
She
Girl.
did a presentation.
Anna Mitchell. Anna, okay.
Hi. Leslie Place, East Orange borderline. I understand there's a new development being about to be built. I wanted to know, the last time I was here, you guys had told me that, I understood that you told me that you had nothing to do with, this is a city council, isn't it? You had nothing to do with the organization and the building. You're not the last people who will say yay or nay, whether it's gonna be developed or not. I just want to read something to you. In New Jersey, redevelopment approval involves both the planning and the city council governing body. But with district rules, the city council holds final authorization to designate the area and adapt the redevelopment plan via ordinance, while the planning board conducts investigations, hold public hearings, and reviews the plan for with consistency of the master plan. So you're telling me that you guys don't have anything to do with the building that's gonna be on my street? It's a dead-end street, a 5-story building that's gonna house 43 apartments on a dead-end street. And as I entered this building, I just seen a big advertisement about how millions of dollars are being developed towards the city because of redevelopment that's going on. Just answer me, please.
So the application that you're talking about is currently before the planning board. The city doesn't have any, the city council doesn't have any jurisdiction over the application that's before the planning board, nor can they do anything to influence the application at the planning board.
No, but
However, with respect to what you read, the city council is presented at a particular point in the process a proposal for a redevelopment plan. And that redevelopment plan has to be approved by ordinance. And it has to be consistent with the master plan. And all of that process was done years ago. So now you're seeing some of that play out in various applications before the planning board and before the zoning board of adjustment. But as it relates to the application that's currently before the board, the city council has nothing to do with it.
thank you.
Thank you. Shanae Fernandez. Shanae Fernandez. Okay, so Kimberly, I think that's Tala. All right.
Motion to close citizens' comments.
Second, Montague.
A motion to close citizens' comments was made by Councilwoman Summers Johnson, second by Council Vice President Montague III. All those in favor vote by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion adopted. Council comments?
Councilman Montague?
Well, of course, you already gave us the update on Orange Memorial. Can you give us an update on the YMCA? Because I thought we was gonna get a new update.
So, I have to have a closed session with the council to discuss the contract negotiations with regard to the rec center.
Okay. And I need to know the status of the new meters from Park Street to Glenwood Avenue.
So the contract was approved in the requisition system within the last 7 days.
So we
So
should
the
expect-
contract should be awarded and a PO issued to the company that's going to do the installation.
And the status with our parking authority,
Utility.
excuse me, utilities.
So there's a couple of items that we're trying to cross off the checklist in terms of when we can bring on the enforcement officers. It should be within the month of April, but there's a training session that they have to go through with the police department. There are uniforms that have to be purchased. The state, which runs what's called the PAT system, has to come up and install that equipment in the room that we've set up for them. That's the automated parking ticket system. And those things are all scheduled for the month of April.
And when are we expecting the budget to come out?
I don't have an answer for that tonight. It will be, we're working on it. You'll hear from us within the next couple of days to set up meetings with individual council members to go through some of the challenges, and then we'll present a budget once we've gone through those discussions.
And I didn't get a chance to look. The baseball fields at ETCAF, because they get ready to start.
I have to check with Marty.
All right, I defer to my colleagues.
Councilman Ross?
Thank you, Council President.
You're welcome.
Just to piggyback on the utility, parking utility, how many officers did we hire, or are we going to hire?
It'll be 4 part-time,
4 part-time.
so it'll be round-the-clock coverage.
So that would be 2 during the day and 2 during the night, or?
There'll be overlapping shifts. So, and there's coverage. Right now, the plan is coverage for 6 days a week, with 1 roving enforcement officer on the 7th day at selected hours.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone had a happy Easter and Passover and spent time with family and friends. I want to talk about e-bikes. And can I have you, Chief Mooney, come up real quick, because the questions will be to you, basically. As you know, with the summer months coming, even now, you know, we got e-bikes, we got scooters, we got mopeds rolling along on our streets and our sidewalks, and I'm sure most of us in here probably got almost rolled over or, you know, hit one of them because they're speeding up and down our streets and our sidewalks. I just want to know from you real briefly, and we ain't got to spend a lot of time on this, what kind of enforcement can you do, or what are you going to do, what plan do you have so that, you know, our streets and sidewalks aren't inundated with these folks riding up and down the sidewalks and streets real fast and knocking us over?
Sure. Good evening, and thank you for the
Good evening.
question. Well, basically, like, just e-bike alone. So the new legislation that came in January, there's a 6-month grace period. So right now, you'll start to see we're in our education phase, and then we'll also do our policy phase. So I know if you see surrounding towns, you're starting to see some Facebook notifications and social media notifications. I'm a little outdated with just saying Facebook, but a lot of notifications. So we'll put it out on social media page, of do's and don'ts for, because you're now lowering the age to 15. They have to be licensed, they have to be registered. Basically all moped, what normally would be like moped, what they have to do, wearing helmets and things like that. But there are some penalties for parents as well. They have to ensure that the child, if it's a juvenile, is equipped. So above 18, that would not apply, or 17 and older. But for juveniles, there's fines and things of that nature. So right now, we'll put out some blasts on social media, some update the city website for do's and don'ts. We'll have our city policy, but enforcement originally, when we first started, like any new statute that comes on the books, we kind of allow our officers like the same little grace period when you're, especially if you're dealing with juveniles, try to do a notification to the parent, try to like a warning system originally, give discretion much more than once the initial phase is guaranteed. But I agree with you, the frustration is large. There's also, it's a common thing amongst delivery people. You see a lot of that going on at night, and during the day it really causes problems in a congested area like Main Street especially. You see it, some of this is above 18 with some of the scooters and things like that we see, and I mean, flat out trikes and bikes that they go, and there's a looting and major motor vehicle violations that go on with that. Those are more of our investigative phase for those ones that don't want to pull over for the police. But as far as the e-bikes go, yes, we're obviously it's a hot discussion in law enforcement because it's lowering the age to 15. And anytime you're dealing with juveniles at that level, you take discretion into account because you're talking about their future driver's license could be affected and things, and the parent will be held accountable, especially if we have to impound the bike. And we have to issue a summons to a 15 or 16-year-old would be issued through the parent. They would be notified. They would have to be notified. So right now, like I said, you'll start to see the education part of this, but in July it comes to real. There will be, like I said, will be discretionary in certain minor offenses, low level, but those penalties can go from reckless driving, careless driving, all basically Title 39 offenses that are at the state level can be held to a e-bike. So, and the frustration is real. We have it as well. When we're inundated during a busy period of time throughout the night or a weekend, and we're getting a series of e-bikes coming down Main Street or Central Ave or across town, it's a danger. It's a pedestrian struck danger. It's a motor vehicle danger. It's an officer safety issue. It's a citizen's issue. We take it very seriously, and it's a common discussion because it came on the scene a few years back with some of these high-powered, bikes that you used to see, out in the dirt paths. Now they do them on the city streets. So a lot of towns, all towns in New Jersey have dealt with it. But I know there's we have currently, last thing I'll say is currently a bicycle, no bicycle on sidewalks. That would still carry over the city. It could be carried over by city council as well, city ordinance, on the e-bikes as well. So traveling on sidewalks or anything like that would be enforced under no bikes on the sidewalk, but that would be discretionary on your part. If you were to issue it, we would then adhere to the local ordinance as well.
But I think we have an ordinance for no riding.
No bikes on the sidewalk. So we would
Right.
again, we would enforce it that way.
Okay.
It does open up in the e-bike legislation. It allows the city council to step in on e-bikes, but we have it on our bicycles, and we would enforce it under that.
Yeah, I put this on all the council members' desk, so when you guys get a chance, look at this, because this lays out all the new rules and regulations that's going to come into effect in July, okay? But some of it is that, for these e-bikes, you have to be a minimum age of 15 years old to ride these things. And you have to possess a license, okay? And you gotta get insurance, so I don't know how you guys are gonna enforce this.
It's a lot of responsibility
It's a lot.
to adhere for a parent with their 15-year-old child who's gonna ask these things, but, it's like an adult decision. You're going for a license, a registration, insurance. I mean, the helmet is obviously important for safety, but you're really like almost what you would do for a motorbike of any
Right.
kind. It used to be 17 and older for mopeds, and it was like, okay, well, they're very close. But now you're dealing with 15. When you lower the age, and then you still have the strict penalties of the New Jersey, Commission, it gets serious. So definitely something. Legislation is very serious.
Councilman Ross, could
Yeah.
I just Council President, can I ask the question while he's
Council
there?
Gleason.
So, Chief, talking about the e-bikes, how are you guys going, you can't chase them. They're not gonna stop if you put your siren on. So how are you gonna enforce the law? I guess that's the critical point,
Like-
because
Right.
I know when we had the problem with the motorcycles and the mopeds a couple years ago, the one thing was the cops cannot chase them. So how are you
ATVs.
going to stop them to even see if they are licensed, if they have insurance? You're gonna wait till they park somewhere and then you're gonna go over and ask that question?
So like anything else, like I said, if they don't adhere to the motor vehicle laws in New Jersey and pursuit coming into place, obviously a strict liability for law enforcement against pursuit. We don't do it except for certain crimes. However, you know, like any other motor vehicle investigation that would happen, especially if it's a serious threat to the public, you know, we utilize any investigative tools, our citywide cameras, our investigative, if there's license plates involved, if we know the owner, if we know where it's going, you know, there's gonna be times where you choose the safety of, over obviously the enforcement part of it, but that doesn't mean that we won't further investigate down the line, especially if they're city residents. You kind of, you know, 2.2 square miles, you can get familiar with certain people that are utilizing the bikes, but if people are coming through town and, you know, we will, again, investigate after the fact. We have, like I said, our citywide cameras, we have our detective follow-up. We don't just, you know, sometimes they get away. Yes, that's very true. But we've been known to impound vehicles and issue summonses after the
But
fact.
they don't have any identified marks. They don't have anything. If you looked at them on the camera, you're not gonna know who's on that e-bike or wherever they're going unless you contact them when they park someplace. Because if you look on the camera, what are you gonna identify? How are you gonna point them out and say, yeah, you were on the e-bike? There's no way you can do that. So I guess the biggest question is, I know we got all this law and stuff, but being you can't chase them, and then they choose not to stop at all, how are you gonna enforce it? I'm still puzzled by that.
No, it's definitely frustrating. You know, they're law enforcement. Some countries have digital license plates that are, you know, have to be not, you know, that you can a little more, because if they take the license plate off and they elude the police, which again, but it's a local, state, country level. It's a nationwide, you know, problem. But obviously, because we've seen the damage that pursuits can lead to with third parties and damage, and keep people could be seriously injured, that you weigh the risk and the safety of the pedestrians and other vehicles on the road over enforcement. But like I said, some days they're going to get away, but the law catches up to them at some point in the season. Councilwoman.
Councilwoman, are you done on my time?
Certainly.
I mean, every meeting
You get an extra minute.
Just one more question, Police Chief. And we talked about this, and I just want to keep talking about it because I believe in this, in old policing, okay? And we talked about walking the streets, okay? I would like to see the officers, especially during the spring and summer, you know, walking the streets and engaging with the community and get out of these cars. I think it's very important. And again, we spoke about this, that they become familiar with their surroundings and people, you know, are familiar with them. A lot of residents are not engaging with the police because you guys don't engage with them, okay? And I would like to see more of that.
It's understandable, sir.
Okay.
Definitely with the warm weather coming, it's a good time. Good
All right.
reminder.
Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
No,
Thank
hey,
you, Chief.
hey, why he's there, Chief?
Yes, sir.
Just to piggyback on the e-bikes, did you partner with the schools for any kind of education for this new law that has passed?
So yeah, so just recently we decided we were, you know, it's funny that it came up tonight because we just initially started our conversations about our education for it. And I was talking to Lieutenant in the back there regarding it. We're going to put a do's and don'ts out to the schools, all of our schools, especially at the high school and middle school where it gets closer to the age. We'll do a little like traffic safety with our younger group, but definitely of that 13 and above, we'll do a education blast with them as well.
Thank you, Chief.
Sure.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
We're on spring break this week, and everyone should know that there's a free tennis clinic at Central Playground, and it's for Orange students from grades 1 to 8, and the time of the clinic is from 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Also, let it be known that Central Playground is open this entire week and staffed from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The field house is open for games, fun, and conversation. Also, there's a carnival with games and rides opening on Thursday, April the 9th, in the old Orange Memorial Hospital parking lot. This question is for the BA. The Seven Oaks Gates was closed this weekend. Can you give me a clear, and I keep asking for this, understanding when these gates will be closed? Will it be every weekend? When will it start? And when will it end?
I'll get you a memo.
Thank you. Dunkin' Donuts has reopened on Main and Jefferson Streets. For those of you that don't know, my wife's favorite store, Target, in West Orange is now open and it's packed. Cherry blossoms are out in Branchbrook Park, and they are beautiful, so ride by if you get an opportunity. And finally, Councilman Montague and I invite you all to join us for a town hall meeting to discuss community benefits. We want to hear from all of you on how these resources should be used to best support our community. The meeting will be held on Thursday, April the 23rd, from 6 to 7:30 p.m., right here in our council chambers. So I'd like to see you all here, especially you, Dr. Bozeman.
I'll see how my calendar looks.
Okay, thank you, Council President.
You're welcome, thank you. Councilwoman Hilbert?
Thank you, Council President.
You're welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Great to see everyone after Resurrection Sunday. I hope everyone enjoyed the holiday, plus Passover as well. My family and I, we attended a few churches in the area, and we enjoyed it with some other family and friends. So it just takes you back to remind you the purpose of these holidays and what was actually sacrificed for us to all be here. And I say that to say, being a council member in the city of Orange Township, it's not always roses. There are challenges, but we are also people. We're somebody's mother, somebody's father, educator, an employer, an employee. And so we are also still students. I say that for myself, I can't speak for everyone else. So we're still learning as we go. And as you can see, laws and legislation changes all the time. So I actually congratulate, I like to applaud my colleagues for staying on top of legislation, what's going on outside of our city, and bringing it to this meeting so that we can update our ordinance and our code so that not only are we compliant with the state of New Jersey, but that we're also being responsive and doing what we need to do here locally in our city for our community. My question to the administration, so that I'm not picking on our business administrator, but I'm opening also up to our law department, is that we are having a lot of discussions about what's happening with our Historic Preservation Commission. And there's a huge disconnect because it's a lot of inconsistent facts that have been spread. We witnessed that earlier, right? So as a council person, this is my question. If the board members have not been reappointed, and if they also did not send out notifications to the community, why has the mayor not reappointed them? And why has the administration refused to assist them with the funding of notifying the community?
The notifications were to have been done years ago, not recently. And that's number one. Number two, the mayor's appointment authority is statutory. He can exercise it or not. So I think he's making a statement by not reappointing these people.
So, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Based off of what you're telling me, or what you're telling us, the community feels that this commission is being dismantled. So if we take the mayor's statement of not reappointing people, that's just saying that there's neglect there. He's refusing to address this board, this commission, and he's refusing to reappoint them. He doesn't have to reappoint them. He could appoint new people if he chooses so. But it's still his duty to give some type of response and make sure that that is a functioning board or a functioning body. So there's multiple things. Initially, our conversation was that they weren't a legal establishment because they never notified the community. Now the new information is saying, okay, well, they are actually not appointed. So that's not a council's responsibility to appoint them. That's a mayor's office.
Nothing has changed in what has been said. The notifications that were required by the statute were never sent. That calls into question, or called into question, all of the authority that the Historic Preservation Commission needs in order to function legally. That was the discussion that's been going on between the Historic Preservation Commission and their attorney and the city and the administration for over 2 years, if not more.
You're right, yeah.
During that time period, no reappointments have been made. So in view of the fact that no reappointments have been made, it underscores the fact that the commission can't operate.
Okay, so not only did we not use the money that they did receive funding in order to send out these notifications. So not only did we not spend the money on that, we actually don't have a report to tell us where that money is.
That's not accurate.
Okay, so what happened to the funding? Because a
Any
resident
funding
asked
that doesn't
earlier,
get
and we didn't
spent-
answer that.
Any funding that doesn't get spent lapses into surplus on an annual basis and is reappropriated the following year to the operating budget. So any allocation, $5,000 for the Historic Preservation Commission for mailing notices that was not spent at the end of that fiscal year lapses to surplus automatically. There's no need to do an investigation as to where the money goes or say that it's missing. It automatically lapses to surplus.
So if it lapsed to surplus, it went into city funding. So why could we not take out the $5,000 in this current fiscal year to support them?
That's a budget issue for the council.
Okay, council members, we've been put on notice so that we do have flexibility to assist them so that we could resolve this issue. Okay, the other thing is still regards to appointments. Now, the library board of trustees, they were still operating at a point in time without reappointments. So what's the difference between them and the historic
The
preservation?
statute for the library board of trustees allows holdovers. The
Allows
statute for
holdovers.
the Historic Preservation Commission does not.
So are we as a council able to amend the code and put that in there?
No, it's
so
a
that it
state
helps the
statute.
mayor?
It's a state statute. You can't
Okay.
amend it.
We can't amend it. So again, that goes back to the mayor's office, that even if we put it in to assist them with their budgeting issues, with their administrative issues, with notifying the public, it still goes back to whether Mayor Dwayne Warren would like to appoint a board.
The mayor has the appointment authority.
Okay. I'm going to move on from that, but thank you. I did hear one of my council colleagues ask if we're going to be having budget hearings soon. So we don't have a list for that or a schedule for that. My question is, when will we be having hearings for the proposed ordinance that I gave to the administration and the law department?
Which ordinance?
The Airbnb.
I defer to the law department.
Excuse me, I anticipate having that ready. We could probably start having hearings, if not within the next 2 meetings, the meeting after, so I can certainly follow up with you on that next week.
Okay, thank you. Next week. I'm on spring break with my kids this week. Thank you. The other question that I had was in regards to the old police substation that we have over on Essex, on South Essex, in the RPM building. Do we still have some type of operating agreement with RPM to utilize that space? Because that could probably assist our local officers if they decide to do something this summer with the foot patrol or being more visible in the area. I see the officers all the time.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah.
No, we don't.
No, we don't?
No.
Is that something where it's like a good relationship that we could revisit?
We've had discussions in the past, and we could have them again. The relationship was a little rocky because we were in litigation with the owner of that facility over other issues.
Okay.
Haven't spoken to him about it since that litigation ended.
Okay. So we can revisit. I will follow up with you about that. It's in the West Ward, so I would love to work on you guys with that, especially if we're going to be redeveloping that area. So it would be nice to see that space still utilized until then. Let's see what else I had here. The e-bikes, motor vehicle. On Lincoln Place, I was visiting a resident over on Lincoln Place, and they said that a portion of their front yard was actually not their properties. They said it belonged to the city. And it's filled with trash. So how often are we going around monitoring our spaces, our properties?
Routinely.
Routinely? Okay.
We have a list of all city properties, and they are cleaned on a regular schedule.
Okay.
So the question I have is, what's the address
I'll just
so
have to
that
give it to you.
I can determine whether or not it's actually city property?
Okay. So I don't know the address of the lot, but I'll give you the home address, which was 475.
Okay.
All right. And then I asked you about the zoning hearings. Okay, my final question would be, would we have a hearing in regards to the updates for the Highland Avenue train station? Or would there be an opportunity for a site visit?
Not during construction.
Not until the end of construction?
Yeah, I mean, I can't have people walking around a construction site.
Okay. I'm just saying, I don't remember
mean,
the
you
last
can
time
have-
any of us
you-
saw plans for it.
You could have a community, you know, you want a community meeting with plans, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to do
But
that,
we
because I
can't
don't
have it
think
on site.
anyone has seen any renderings or anything in a while. So could we set something up like that? Thank you very much. I'm done, Council President.
Thank you. Councilwoman Eason.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to say I attended Dwight Mitchell's funeral last Tuesday and represented the mayor and the council. They gave him a good send-off, thanked him for the service to the city. His pastor was a little upset that we didn't have more Orange representation there because he had worked in Orange for so long. But it was a good send-off, and we got the resolution from the council wasn't able to read it, but it came, so the family did get that, and they were very appreciative of us recognizing him for his service. Also, just on a good news note, Washington Dodd has a new owner effective today. The closing was today, and the main thing that the mayor and I made sure was we wanted to keep it affordable. So now it has a new nonprofit owner, so it will stay affordable housing. And the other good news is during the time of transition or the planning for the sale, a lot of the issues was abated based on the state inspections and the city inspections. So most of their concerns were taken care of, and I was there this weekend, so we had 2 concerns on Monday that they really took care of right away, so we're thankful for that. So Washington Dodd is still Washington Dodd. It is still a good complex to live in. Right now, they have a waiting list because everybody wants to get in there because it is very quiet over there. And I keep the police in that area to make sure they know it's a police presence. The only thing is, through you, Mr., we need to put them on the list to get that street paved. And I think Marty was going to try and expedite that because they've been waiting so long. And I looked at the new pavement list, and there's not many areas in the North Ward that's on that new pavement list.
That's because they were on the other list.
These two.
Beg your pardon?
That's because they were on the previous list.
Yeah, but on the new one, we didn't have a lot of streets being paved for the North Ward, so we need to rectify that. And getting back to the tennis courts, I think the question was, and I don't know if anybody asked it, we have legislation that's going to do some more work there, but how do we, the park's supposed to be locked at night, right? So how do people get in it to ride their bikes and tear up the tennis courts? Isn't there a locked gate there? So do we need a police officer to monitor that in the evening and keep the people off of the courts so they're not torn up?
We probably need to fix the fence, because you can pull it and
The
kind of
fence is
squeeze
broken?
through it. It's not
broken.
It's
You
not
can just
broken.
squeeze through
You
it.
could just squeeze through it. You know what I mean? You could pull it.
Right. I think in ropes, we changed the type of fence that we used so they couldn't pull it. Is that what we need to do at the tennis courts? Councilman Ross?
I don't know how they get in there. I haven't been in there, but what I said earlier is I ride by there and I see all of the abuse that's being taken place in there. You know, people riding bikes, sitting on the nets and doing whatever they have to do. So I don't know how they're getting in there.
So can we ask our police chief, is that being monitored? The tennis courts? Do you want to come up a minute? I know with College Park, they lock the gates at night. And the Public Works does that every evening at 8 o'clock. How do we monitor the tennis courts so that there's a police presence to make sure that people are not tearing up the tennis courts?
So if we're aware, like I said, I'll ensure, like I said, with the warm weather, we see more action in the parks at night. We start enforcing our city ordinances that after, you're not allowed to be in a park after certain times, after dark, smoking prohibited, things like that. So we'll start to check. Some are less secure than others. So, but that the police will enforce each and check within their areas of town or sectors. So we'll reissue to remind them, start checking the parks again. And when there's groups after a certain period of time, especially at night, and especially if they're being disruptive or to the community, then they'll be issuing summonses, or the parents will be issued summonses as well.
So we're gonna make sure that that the weather's getting warmer, that they are checked after 8 o'clock, because the gates are locked at a certain time, just to make sure. And I just want to thank Public Works and their workers for staying on top with Three Corner Deli. We were having an influx of garbage down there every weekend, and I noticed they've been emptying the garbage on Saturday, on Sunday, because it was getting to be a mess. So I want to thank them for putting that on their agenda every weekend now to make sure it's clean. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Easton. Councilman Cody.
How are you,
Bless you.
Council President? Good
I'm
evening.
good. How are you?
Good. I'm just sitting here listening about the use of the our city parks at night. I grew up in this town, and I was one of the kids that used to jump the fence, go swim at night, you know, do all these things. And if we had some type of organized activities, you know, in the parks after dark, you know, for a certain amount of hours, that will help, you know, curtail, you know, these issues. That will help manage, you know, these problems. You know, that would have, you know, maybe I wouldn't have, you know, bust out that window, you know, or did whatever, these crazy things I did when I was coming up in this town, you know, in addition to, you know, going midnight swimming and doing all the other things. It should be some type of, you know, organization where we can, you know, use the parks, you know, after dark. You know, they shouldn't just be, you know, under lock and key. When we look at these resolutions and the bill list, we spend a lot of money in our parks, so they should be utilized. You know, but in the right way, and I'm leaving right there. I think we all received the email about a week or so ago about that development, that proposed development that this young lady just spoke about. That 5-story building on
622 Lindsay Place.
Yeah, I have to scratch my head on that one too. I looked at what was sent in the email, and I rolled past there. I ride past her all the time, you know, and that's a massive, you know, development, you know, for that small stretch of land. You know, I just hope that you know, it get worked out, you know, where, you know, it could be some happy medium made without it being so big. And I have a petition. I turned it in, but hopefully it'll be on the next meeting. The residents on New Street between Park and North Center, they want to transition New Street into a one-way. Parking is really bad over there. New Street is a narrow street where you have to constantly, fight, just to get up and down the block without getting into accidents. The same process that we went through a few years back for Snyder Street. I'm hoping that we can do the same thing for New Street. So when this is put on the agenda, I hope my council colleagues will, consider it the same way you did for Snyder Street. And since Snyder Street has been transitioned into a one-way, I really haven't heard or seen any more traffic issues over there. The parking has opened up because now you can park on both sides. It's just that we have to, redo the ordinance, just so you can do the, the alternate side street parking just for those 2 hours, 1 day a week for the snow removal and the street cleaning. And I hope that when this comes up, that it shouldn't be no issues with it. And there was something else I had. What else did I have? Oh yeah, and also parking is such a serious issue in Orange, has always been, and it will continue to be. And we have some, I guess, homeowners or people that rent properties in Orange who have legal driveways, and they have commercial vehicles. I think, I believe our ordinance prohibits the parking of commercial vehicles in your driveways. I'm not talking tractor trailers, I'm talking, service vehicles. If that's something that we could look at, by helping out, someone who have their own business, rent a house in town or own their own property in town, but they have a driveway, but you can't park it in, but you can't park your commercial vehicle in a driveway. I think that's something that we should start to look at, just so we can help ease the parking issue when it comes to commercial vehicles. If you look around, a lot of you guys, they're parking their vehicles illegally on the street anyway. You know what, maybe we could, try and, find some happy medium where we could, get this done to, help improve the quality of life of people. That's it, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Thank you. Positive, hopeful, grateful, thankful. I am so happy to be here today. I thought I was going to miss tonight. I had a scare with my mother. She just got out of ICU, so I am just so happy to be here today. Still conducting business. That's what my parents raised. We always push through. I know that's not a part of being a council person because we're not supposed to be human sometimes, but positive, hopeful, grateful, thankful. I attended a walk in the South Ward, a 2-mile walk, and if you know me, I do not walk, so I was getting it going and talking to residents. I submitted the questions that I could not answer or that needed more help to it to the business administrator and directors, and he color-coded who's supposed to answer what. So a lot of meetings are going to come out of that walk, so I'm very happy about that. During that walk, we identified several properties that should not be included in this widespread spring clean incentive. And I say that because as we were walking, you could see residents literally must have raided Home Depot. They had soil, plants, like they're getting ready to do something major with their property, and then they're next to just filth. And I know that it's until the 25th that we're giving out warnings, but I really wish the date could be changed because the 25th is just too far away for someone to have to live next to that. Especially, I get calls every single day. I got one right before this meeting from Scotland and Morris, Haywood and Scotland. That whole area is just, one house was a mess, I think, the other day, and code enforcement must have gone there because I went yesterday and all the garbage was gone, so that's a good thing. And I just need to get people out of the mentality, like if you're a renter or you're a homeowner, like if you're staying with your friend, I don't care, like there is a sense of Orange pride that needs to be restored. I know I live on a cul-de-sac, and even like a little piece of paper on the ground, I'm gonna pick it up because it's so noticeable. And sometimes when the garbage truck comes, they're doing a better job, but sometimes everything doesn't go in. I don't say, oh, it's not mine, or I didn't do it. It's just a sense of pride that we have to restore in our kids. It's a learned behavior. It starts at home. We talk about our parks. There was a time, and especially at Central Park, Mr. Nora plays zero games with the board games and the things that they have to take care of the items, to let the kids know, like after you break it, then we don't have it anymore. But that sense of pride has to start from home, and just, respecting the things that the city does spend money on. Let's see. Kudos to Orange Public Schools. I am receiving several calls, like within the past 2 weeks, I've received about 5 calls from South Ward residents whose children attend private school, and they want visits to Haywood Avenue and Forest Street, Blue Ribbon Community School. And the school district has been so kind. The principal, Dr. Cook at Forest, and the principal of Haywood Avenue, Ms. Woods, they both have opened up their buildings and allowed parents to see. And those parents called me back and were like, you were not lying. I'm definitely, going to put my child there. So I just think that means that the staff and everyone, from the lunch aide to the custodian, everyone in Orange Public Schools are trying to really have pride in our schools, because when people move here, they look at all of those things when they're choosing a place to live. I'm so happy that while I was on the phone with the BA earlier, Claremont Terrace traffic study came in. So they were waiting that, and while I was sitting here, a resident from Claremont Terrace text asking about the traffic study. So I was so happy to say that it was in. That means we'll be able to look at it and figure out what we're gonna do with the one-way. Also, Nassau Street is now permit parking. The residents have their permits and the signs went up. And thank you, Public Works, for putting the mirror on the corner of Argyle and Scotland. I go to that corner store every morning and I play Frogger, if you know Frogger, to try to get out on Scotland. But now with the mirror, I can see the oncoming traffic. And let me see, and I'm so happy that 6 to 9 program, we said it before, I dropped my sons off there for the past 2 weeks. And just seeing my son off his VR, off his game, off his phone, it brings all of the schools together, and that's the one thing. He's gonna be going to 8th grade in September, so he'll be going to OPA, and I was trying to explain to him, like, I went there, but it brings all of the schools together, and he's worrying about knowing people. I'm like, you're gonna know people through 6 to 9, you're gonna know, playing for the different teams. Orange is a really good place to live, and no matter what you read or what you hear, there's some really good things going on here, and we have a lot of work to do. I'm waiting for the same projects that all the residents are waiting for. Trust me, I think I can speak for every council person here. We want to see the train station, we want to see the hospital site, we want to see the rec, we want to see the old police site. I mean, I can go on for days on what we have, but when I went on the walk, one of the residents said, I don't see the council asking about this, and I don't see the council. Well, just so you know, sometimes, like, I call the BA Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. We have relationships with directors, so a lot of times I know I solve a lot of problems just through text message and misconception. A lady said to me the other day that she had been emailing me and I didn't respond and email. I said, you know what? Show me the email, because I need to see, and it was the wrong email. But thank God, I got to see the message. And we were able to put a garbage can at the corner of Highland and South Center, where we have like a pooper, where the pooper bags are. So just miscommunication was able to be solved easily. So again, I'm going to end with positive, hopeful, thankful, and grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Summers Johnson. And as all my council colleagues said, I hope and pray that everyone had a great Easter, everyone had a fantastic Passover, and were able to spend time with your family and people who just don't want to do anything but love on you. That's all they want to do is love you. They don't care about councilwoman, council president, secretary, senator. They just know, like, my family is like, okay, AG, go in there and get those dishes and wash them. Like, they don't care nothing about any of this. So I hope you got a chance this weekend or this week to spend some time with your family. I want to say thank you to people who came out. We passed a unanimous piece of legislation, vote by my council members, to do posters in our public bathrooms regarding domestic violence, which is a very, very serious topic. And just last week, I have spoken to, or I learned about 2 very harsh kinds of domestic violence here in our community. So it's serious, and it's something that we need to take into accountability. The posters are, things are being added to them, so you will probably see them maybe in about 15 days. They'll come out in our public bathrooms. I want to say thank the council so much for voting on that legislation. It's the first in the state. So after we did that, I've been receiving telephone calls from the Assembly, from the State Senate, regarding people who also had passed legislation too regarding domestic violence. And one in particular, one that I'm really interested in, and I don't know if people have the stomach for it, but it's a public registry like you have for, I guess, is it Daniel's Law? What's the sex offender thing? Megan's Law. Megan's Law. So there are two senators who've written legislation that they want it to be a public law where you can go on the internet and look these people up after they've been convicted. So I have a meeting with them in the next coming week. I want to thank people like Angela McKnight, who Councilman Montague and Councilman Cliff Ross know. She's doing a great thing with domestic violence. Carol Murphy, Lewis Greenwell, like the list goes on and on and on and on. And people that know me know that this is something that is important to me, any type of violence being done to any type of person. So again, I just want to say thank y'all so much. Those posters should be out soon. I'm gonna get someone to sponsor them, so the city won't incur any costs with putting them in the bathrooms. Have already been asked by a couple of restaurants if they can also put them in their restaurants as well, so we can make Orange a safer place. The domestic violence not only occurs with women, it occurs with men too, and I don't think that people take that into consideration, that men may be abused as well as women. It normally happens to a woman on a Saturday night, Friday night, Sunday, because they're home with the abuser. It was a big uptick during COVID because people were in the same household a lot. It tends to happen on holidays like Christmas and Hanukkah and Easter because you're at home with your abuser. So you may not think that you know someone is being abused, but I bet you, each and every one of you, there's somebody in your circle that's being abused. And, you know, you always just want to make it easy so they can come and talk to you about the abuse that's going on and stop stigmatizing it, saying to women, like, why didn't you leave? Instead of supporting them, and to men as well. But that's something that's important to me, and I'm proud to be a part of that, and I'm proud to have a council that's a part of that also. Thank you for giving us the update with the bikes. Councilman Ross, I saw that too. Our Monday morning meeting in the senator's office, we spoke about that too. We have a person that lives down the street from Councilman Coley and I who rides the e-bike on the sidewalk, and he'll come out of his driveway or whatever, or his yard on the sidewalk and ride down the sidewalk. It's hard to catch him, like Councilwoman was saying. He just flies by. One day he came down the sidewalk. The children were getting out of school at Oakwood Avenue. He turned the sidewalk, and here was a little girl in front of him. So he goes out into the street. He you know, skids out. So me, being from Greensboro, North Carolina, you know I'm going outside. You know I went outside. You know I said something to him. Because he started to say something to the little girl like she was at fault. Like, are you kidding me? So I'm really glad this legislation is being ramped up, and I'm really glad that Chief Mooney said that they were going to be vigilant about looking into that legislation and making sure that our people in Orange are safe. So that's my comment for tonight. And thank you very much, and Madam Clerk.
Amen. Okay. Ordinances on second reading, public hearing, there are none. Ordinances on introduction and first reading. Ordinance 3-2026, an ordinance authorizing the online payment of property maintenance summons and establishing electronic processing procedures in the city of Orange Township, sponsored by Council Member Clifford R. Ross. Is there a motion to adopt on first?
Motion to adopt on first, Summers Johnson.
Second, Eason.
Motion by Councilwoman Summers Johnson, second by Councilwoman Eason. On the motion? Roll call. Councilman Coley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Eason?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hilbert?
Yes.
Councilman Montague III?
Yes.
Councilman Ross?
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson?
Yes.
Council President Wooten?
Yes.
That's 7 yeas. This has passed. The final reading will be on May 5th, 2026. Ordinance 4-2026, an ordinance to amend and supplement the Code of the City of Orange Township, Chapter 200, Article 7, entitled Turn Prohibitions and Lane Reservations to Prohibit Left Turns, sponsored by Councilmember Clifford R. Ross. Is there a motion?
Motion, Summers Johnson.
Second, Wooten.
Motion by Councilwoman Summers Johnson, second by Council President Wooten. On the motion.
Council President,
Councilwoman Eason.
how soon are we gonna, through you to the business administrator? Who's working with, how soon will we get those signs when it's all said and done?
First,
By
it
the
has
end
to
of
go
the
down, First, it has to go down to the county to be approved. There was a conversation with the county engineer. He doesn't think it'll be an issue, but as a formality, it needs to go down and be communicated to them.
If
Once
we-
they approve it, then the signs can be ordered.
Yeah, but if we give them the specifications, we might can get the county to donate the signs,
We can ask.
all right? They're usually pretty good, so I can negotiate it, being I talked to him about doing this, so we'll see if they'll donate the signs. But they might already have some that
And
we
or
can just get.
barriers, do we want barriers and signs out there?
I think you need to try the signs first.
But speaking, aren't we going to also have to put the post back at Dunkin' Donuts on Jefferson?
We're looking at that.
Okay.
Okay. Roll call, Councilman Coley.
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hilbert.
Yes.
Council Vice President Monica III.
Yes.
Councilman Ross.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Yes.
And Council President Wooten.
Yes.
That's 7 yeas. This has been adopted. The final reading will be on May 5th, 2026. Consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence of the agenda. Are there any council members who wish to remove a resolution for a separate vote?
Council President,
Councilwoman Hilbert.
I'd like to move 199-2026.
199, you said?
Yes.
Thank you.
And we already know 223 has been pulled.
Yes. Any others? The consent agenda consists of 194, 195, 196, 197, 198. Was that another one? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
So 199 was pulled, and what was the other? Was there any?
Yes, 223, 2026. Any other ones? Okay. The consent agenda consists of 194, 195, 196, 197, 198, 198, 200, 201, 202, 203, 204, 205, 206, 207, 208, 209, 210, 211, 212, 213, 214, 215, 216, 217, 218, 219, 220, 221, 222, 224, 225, 226, and 227. Is there a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt, Summers Johnson.
Second, Wooten.
A motion to adopt the consent agenda was a motion by Councilwoman Summers Johnson, second by Council President Wooten. On the motion, roll call, Councilman Coley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Eason,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Montague III,
Yes.
Councilman Ross,
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson,
Yes.
Council President Wooten.
Yes.
That's 7 yeas. This has been adopted. Resolution 199-2026, a resolution to enter into memorandum of agreement with Metro YMCA of the Oranges for the co-facilitation of 2026 Mayor's Circle of Excellence Summer Camp not to exceed $147,000. Is there a motion?
Move, Wooten.
Second, Summers Johnson.
Motion by Council President Wooten, second by Councilwoman Summers Johnson. On the motion, roll call, Councilman Coley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Eason,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hilbert,
Abstain.
Councilman Montague III,
No.
Councilman Ross,
No.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson,
Yes.
Council President Wooten.
Yes.
That's 4 yeas, 1 abstain, and 2 noes. This passes. Resolution 223-2026, A resolution rescinding proposed ordinance number 2 and establishing a policy resolution to reaffirm compliance with NJSA 18A:41-7.1 regarding critical incident mapping data for school safety, submitted by Council President Wooten.
Madam Clerk, that's just being returned to the administration. There's
Oh,
no
you're right.
action
I
needed.
apologize. Yes, this was returned. I apologize. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Because
Let's move to new business walk-ons. There's one ordinance and 2 resolutions. I'll read the title. Ordinance 5-2026 WO, an ordinance of the City of Orange Township, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapters 88 and 200 of the Code of the City of Orange Township to update permit parking fees and requirements and to establish a residential on-street, overnight, and commuter parking permit program. Resolution 228-2026 WO, resolution authorizing the submission of a grant application for the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs Local Efficiency Achievement Program, LEAP Shared Services Coordinator Grant, and Resolution 229-2026 WO, a resolution of authorizing change order number 1 to modify and increase the contract amount for the well number 5 rehabilitation project awarded to Sharga Property Services Incorporated, 429 Dodge Street, East Orange, New Jersey, 07017, in the amount not to exceed $86,181.18. Is there a motion to walk these three onto the agenda?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Hilbert, second by Councilman Montague III. On the motion, all those in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
This has been adopted. These 3 pieces of legislation have been walked onto the agenda. Ordinance 5-2026 WO, an ordinance of the City of Orange Township, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapters 88 and 200 of the Code of the City of Orange Township to update permit parking fees and requirements and to establish a residential on-street, overnight, and commuter parking permit program. Is there a motion to adopt on first reading?
Motion.
to adopt. Second.
Motion to adopt by Councilman Weldon Montague III, second by Councilwoman Contavia Hilbert. On the motion,
Council President,
Councilwoman Easton.
do you to our city attorney, you want to do the amendment, or you going to, there's amendment on this one?
Yes, so I'll do the amendment now before the vote is taken. This is on the walk-on number 5, correct?
yes, 5-2026.
So on I guess the 3rd page of the proposed ordinance where it says Section 4 residential on-street overnight parking, under subsection A, where it reads, except as authorized by permit, no vehicle shall be parked on any public street within the City of Orange Township between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. That should be amended as follows: except as authorized by permit, no vehicle shall be parked on a border, open quote, border street, close quote, as defined in this ordinance between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. And I will have the amended ordinance forwarded to the clerk's office tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
While we're still on the motion, Mr. B.A., can we add State Street to this? State Street, although the majority of State Street is in East Orange, there is a portion of State Street that is in orange, from 51 State Street down to 67 State Street, which is the Park Street. We can add State Street to this, so, and get the signage over there when this is passed. That'll be very helpful.
While we're still on the motion,
Amending section 2.
Between South Valley and Snyder. State Street, they said? So that would be between Snyder and Stetson.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
All right, so Madam Council President, there's another suggested amendment. So under the Border Streets section, which is section 2 of the proposed ordinance, under the definition section, where it defines Border Street, the table, the 4th column will include, as amended, State Street to go in between Snyder Street and Stetson Street. Correct, Councilman Kohler?
Yes, and we need to number the properties on State Street, because
We need to do what, I'm sorry?
we need to number, put the number of the properties on State Street on this particular ordinance, because State Street, the majority of the block is in East Orange. It's only maybe a quarter of the block that's in East Orange. The south side of State Street may be going a quarter, maybe half the block is in Orange, and then the entire south side is in East Orange. So that's why we should specifically number from 51 State Street through 67 State Street, so that it is clear that those properties are in Orange, and so that is no miscommunication when it comes to the enforcement of the permit parking
So
from
that-
either Orange or East Orange.
Understood. So that amendment is stated on the record. It'll be added to the proposed ordinance prior to the final vote. So just to be clear, again, we're amending, I won't repeat the amendment to the overnight parking regulation, but again, we're adding State Street in the 4th column of the chart, and we're specifying the number of houses on we're specifying State Street by the number of homes on that street that actually are contained in the city of Orange Township.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay.
Anyone else on the motion?
Council
President?
I have a question. I see Oakwood Avenue. Are you talking about Oakwood Avenue in its entirety? Because sometimes when you talk about Oakwood Avenue, there's the part where I live, and then there's a part that's across Central Avenue, and they have two different themes now. So is it in its entirety?
It's in its entirety.
Okay. Anyone else on the motion? Did you have something?
yeah, no, my question was answered, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Roll call. Councilman Coley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hilbert?
Yes.
Councilman Montague III?
Yes.
Councilman Ross?
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson?
Yes?
Council President Wooten?
Yes.
That's 7 yeas. This has been approved, and the second reading will be on May 5th, 2026. Next. Resolution 228-2026, a resolution authorizing the submission of a grant application for the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs Local Efficacy Achievement Program, LEAP, Shared Services Coordinator Grant. Is there a motion?
Motion, Summers Johnson.
Second, Wooten.
Motion by Councilwoman Summers Johnson, second by Council President Wooten. On the motion. Roll call. Councilman Coley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Eason?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hilbert?
Yes.
Councilman Montague III?
Yes.
Councilman Ross?
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson?
Yes.
Council President Wooten?
Yes.
That's 7 yeas. This has been adopted. Resolution 229-2026 WO, a resolution authorizing change order number 1 to modify and increase the contract amount for the well number 5 rehabilitation project awarded to Sharga Property Services Incorporated, 429 Dodge Street, East Orange, New Jersey, 07017, in the amount not to exceed $86,181.18. Is there a motion?
Motion, Summers Johnson.
Second Coley.
Motion by Councilwoman Summers Johnson, second by Councilman Coley. On the motion? Roll call. Councilman Coley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Eason?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hilbert?
Yes.
Councilman Montague III?
Yes.
Councilman Ross?
No.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson?
Yes.
Council President Wooten?
Yes.
That is 6 yeas, 1 no. This has been adopted.
You know, this is a
Ca-
100% principal forgiveness loan.
Council President, if I may,
City Attorney Montanez.
that's it for the walk-ons, correct?
That's it for the walk-ons.
So before we move on to old business, I'd like the council to reconsider, actually to take action on Resolution 22326 that was pulled and suggested to go back to the administration. After further discussion, the resolution is actually being proposed to rescind an ordinance that actually is postponed but is on the agenda. So in order to take it off of the agenda, a resolution would have to be considered and adopted for it to actually be removed from the agenda altogether. So I'd like the council to revisit 223.
So make a motion to reconsider 223, 2026.
Hold on 1 second.
Dell, since there was no action taken on 223, a reconsideration motion would not be necessary.
Necessary.
You just need to just act on it, just vote on it.
So do we want to put it after ordinance 2? After the postpones, or do it now?
You would do it now.
Okay.
So we need a vote, a motion.
1 second.
Say that again?
Can you explain it again to people? I don't think they understand.
Okay, so just to make sure that everybody's clear on what we're doing, there's an ordinance that's on the proposed ordinances section. It's in
Postpone section.
right. What did I say?
Proposed.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's late. A postponed ordinance section 2-2026. This resolution 223-2026 is being put forth to rescind or to remove that ordinance from the agenda, as opposed to the council having to take any action on the ordinance.
So once we do this, then we don't have to do anything else with it,
That's
right?
correct. You don't have to do anything else with with proposed ordinance 2-2026, or postponed ordinance 2-2026.
Question, so when we do this, I mean, are we voting yes or no for this?
So when you're doing this, you're voting yes to rescind
Yes to
or no
rescind.
not to.
Okay, yes, okay. Yes to rescind.
You gonna read it?
Yes, ma'am.
Wait a minute. I have another question to the law department. So we're not only voting to rescind it, but it says establish a policy resolution. So we're still putting forth some type of resolution in place that's gonna require further action, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
He's removing the postponed one, that's 2026.
and establishing a policy resolution. So you're taking away one thing, but you're adding another.
Yes. Yes. Because if you read the, did you want to?
All the resolution does is rescind the ordinance and establish a resolution to make sure and reaffirm that everyone is in compliance with NJSA 1841-7.1, which is a state statute. So what you're doing is you're saying, we don't need the ordinance, and we want to
agree with the
reaffirm
state.
that we're in compliance.
And we agree with the
Right.
state.
We
It's
agree with
more
the
of a
state. That's all it
recommendation to
is.
comply with the state. Gotcha.
Or recognition
So, and then furthermore, we'll be just removing number 2 altogether.
altogether,
Yes.
Got it.
as
I'm
if
on
it was
board.
never on
Thank
there.
you.
Resolution 223-2026, a resolution rescinding proposed ordinance number 2 and establishing a policy resolution to reaffirm compliance with NJSA 18A:41-7.1 regarding critical incident mapping data for school safety, submitted by Council President Council President Wooten. Is there a motion?
Motion?
Second, Summers Johnson.
Motion by Councilwoman Easton, second by Councilwoman Summers Johnson. On the motion. Roll call, Councilman Coley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Montague III,
Yes.
Councilman Ross,
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson,
Yes.
Council President Wooten.
Yes.
That's 7 yeas. This has been adopted. Now we go on to postpone ordinances. An ordinance to amend the code, ordinance 53-2025. An ordinance to amend the code of the City of Orange Township, Chapter 200, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, Section 200-33, entitled Schedule 2, No Parking Certain Hours, Central Avenue, sponsored by Councilmember Kerry Coley. Is there a motion?
To keep it postponed, yes.
Motion to keep postponed by Councilman Coley.
Second, Summers Johnson.
Motion by Councilman Coley, second by Councilwoman Summers Johnson. On the motion, Councilman Coley?
Yes.
On the motion, I just want to know, why we keep leaving this postponed? What is outstanding? What are we doing, that we can't move this along?
Our Chris Mobley is working on some legislation that's going to be added to this.
Okay.
So when he's finished with what he's doing, it's going to be an amendment to this.
And you had, obviously you had a meeting with him. Do you know when this will be?
I don't know exactly, but I would definitely follow up with him.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else on the motion? Councilman Coley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hilbert?
Yes.
Councilman Montague III?
Yes.
Councilman Ross?
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson?
Yes.
Council President Wooten?
Yes.
That's 7 years. This has been postponed. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Summers Johnson.
Second, Montague.
Motion to adjourn was made by Councilwoman Summers Johnson, second by Councilman Montague III. On the motion, all those in favor vote by saying aye. Aye. We stand adjourned at 9:19 p.m. The next scheduled municipal council conference and regular meeting will be held on Tuesday, April 21st, 7 p.m. at City Hall, 29 North Day Street, Orange, New Jersey, in the council chambers. Thank you all and have a wonderful night. Please be safe.